guys. We've got both of these here. I did my last video the other day, and I was explaining how I can only go right over my head with these things a couple times in one day. I had some of my other videos, I used a smaller one than this one, but I'm just now doing 2 of these at once. And I was explaining how the different contours of the ground, smoother and rougher of different gravel, that maybe you do not want to do a complete split too soon, and that can be your advantage. Then, you know, when you're getting more flexible, you can only do certain things, like when you hold an object over your head, like especially when you're doing more weight. When you're doing more weight, it's gonna force you down into that split before you're ready. But when you're about ready, maybe you can only do it maybe once or twice in one day, because you're gonna be feeling that. Here we go, we're gonna go and do it right now. Let's see. Here we go, like that. Like I told you, we can do this. And then once I get like this, make sure it's completely in the camera. Hold on, here we go. 1, 2, 3. And I'm kind of sinking down, but then, you know, when you start all over again, you're not as flexible like you see now. Like yesterday's tutorial, if you guys follow me, stated, I was already talking to you, and I was already damn near in a full split holding on to these things. Holding on to these things has its advantages too, and the weight of it maybe keeps you still, you know, whether you use gloves or not. But now the next time I do this, I'm going to be a little bit more flexible, going down a little bit more. For some reason, when you do this every other day and you skip some days, some of us ain't flexible. I mean, you don't do it all the time, you lose it, but still, when I do this every day, I'm like this, and then I gradually start getting lower every single time I do this, but yet it's still extremely good for you. And here we go. Yeah. And ha. And see, I got more weight there, so I could actually, I'll be feeling that shit right now. But then when I'm actually going lower down, keep in mind you can just walk it, you know, with your hands like this. Then kind of stretch your back out with one hand like this. Then try to go sideways a little bit. Try to stretch out underneath that arm. And then try to lean back, put your hand behind here. Now you can be doing this in a bunch of sessions, and you're going to get like more and more flexible here too. But like you do this like every single day, I mean, you still got, some of us still have to do it a couple of times before we're damn near always down to the floor. And not all of us, some of us, I think we can probably do this shit all our lives, but we may only be getting, like, say, this far, and like, say, for example, I could get lower. I already have, but I'm still probably, I might, for the rest of my life, be having to do this several sessions while I'm talking to you before I get all the way down, you know what I mean? Like yesterday, right while I was talking to you here, I get down and back up again and back down again. You get more flexible, you know, maybe one session lasting about 4 or 5 times. But you might be doing a little more than that, you know, more or less, you know, as you get better. But then get back up again, and then shake it out. But like I said, even if you don't get all the way down to the floor, having your legs apart once in a while is extremely good for you, especially A lot of you guys that have discrepancies in your legs, well, even some people that are more athletically superior, it's still good for you if you don't stretch enough to do a little more, because in a lot of my cases, I can walk long distances practically forever. The only thing I got to worry about is blisters. Then certain occupations like I do, certain construction jobs, different things like that, any kind of work related jobs, you know what I mean, where you have to get up and down and lift stuff, you know, and it'll help you out a little bit better. I mean, there's like a variety of reasons too, you know. But anyway, see, I did this twice so far and all that stuff too, but maybe a little bit soon, since I can almost get down to the floor. I'll go right complete. You didn't see right now. Like that. And now see how far I am now in this one here, when I got up and back down again. Now still, if I try to raise this much weight over my head in this position right now, I can feel, I'm feeling it, I might just rip the hamstrings, you know. The weight of myself and these two objects might pretty much rip my hamstrings all this shit. Because I'm not quite like that one dude yet, lift the whole barbell over my head, do a complete split. And then he does that with, on chairs on top of that. I'm like, holy shit. But I get do some of this inspired by what they call the Zirconian Persian sword and shield wielding exercise from an ancient culture. And they use a thing called a push-up board or a press-up board. And they'll do push-ups with their legs spread apart. And they're not even necessarily trying to get real flexible like this. But I'm doing modified versions of that inspired by this. But unlike that routine, your club bell or baton can also be your press-up board. You know what I mean? So I'm incorporating so many activities into once. So there we go. So I'm gonna just go up and down a little bit and escape like this. Well, see, I'm flexible enough that I can escape like this too, but I'll probably do an extra video later on of different kind of escapes where you're down over there. Yeah, you could sort of fall over backwards if you want, fall on your butt or fall forward, but there are some of us can actually put shock to our whole system in our legs from that too, and you don't want to knock a hip out of whack, you know, that's a little scary too. So like, that's why I'm more an advocate for going like this, you know, even before you doing splits, and then like I said, do it like this a little bit. And then even if you don't want to be real flexible, do a lot of your stuff just like this. Do push-ups. Do the Persian style push-up, look up the Persian style push-up, do your own version of it. I say don't worry about being what do you call it, technically correct all the time. Fuck being technically correct. Well, you can be technically correct sometimes, but if you're doing stuff all on your own, do what's right for you first, whether it's technically correct or not. Maybe you don't want to, a fitness fanatic. Hey, you do shit that's not even technically correct. You're still better than you was, and you're better than doing nothing. And then it ain't worth hurting yourself if you're haven't done any of this shit before too, you know. Like I said, I'll do push-ups with the knees sagging on purpose, because the straight bent, so I can jump, you know what I mean? jump, jump. That's why on purpose I'll do a knuckle push-up with sagging knees on purpose, or in some cases I'll, I know, in the military it's a discipline, and in any of your places you go it's a discipline. Definitely nothing wrong with it, not knocking it, but there are some different types of exercise where it ain't good for you to be rigid all the time. You want to be able to jump, and be able to move about like all the primal movement stuff. Because you're not doing shit fucking rigid out there in life, not at all. Matter of fact, a lot of the stuff you're doing every day, you can be clumsy, have a clumsy moment, and then you were playing sports, you'll have that thing where your neck would slip, and you'd be embarrassed, and then you can catch yourself and prevent yourself from breaking something. If you're a little bit flexible, your foot can go. Yeah, you get the idea.